Hello, this is Matt from Matt's Mission Marine. This past weekend, the wife and I, we decided we were going to do something a little bit different. So we decided we were going to tube the Neuse, do some serious social distancing. We did some pre-planning before we went. We also came up with some things along the way that we thought would be very helpful to those of you that want to do this in the future. And we're going to talk about some of those things today. Hello and welcome to Matt's Mission Marine, your home for my take on boats, waterways, and interesting conversations along the way. Today, I'm excited because my wife and I are going to be doing some extreme social distancing. We're out here at the Neuse River. We're going to do something we've never done before. We're going to tube the Neuse. Alright, so the wife and I, we did plenty of preparation for this trip, and no laughing at our gear that we have here, but I'm going to show it to you guys real quick here. So I'll turn the camera around. As you guys can see, we have our tube that came out of our boat that we usually do as pull behind the boat. We got a little baby tube here for drinks, and our water box and first aid kit and our accessories. We got our shoes in our bag there, and then I got the cheesy little pool float here is what I'm going to use today to float down the river. Again, this is our first time, so we didn't really have time to go out and get any really nice gear, but we think that this will definitely do for going down the river today. Now, honey, if you will, say hi to everyone.
Hello.
And let's show off your shoes there, because one of the most important things you got to have is good water shoes. So take a note there. I got mine on too there. Alright, what else do we need today? That's it?
Just need to get going.
Alright, let's put those life vests on and let's get going. And we did a little bit of research on, which by the way, there's not a whole lot out there if you get ready to tube the Neuse, which is one of the reasons why we're making this video. The flow rate. The flow rate is extremely important. I can't tell you guys how important that is. There's some advice out there. We found it in one spot saying that the flow rate should be at least 200 CFS and less than 700 CFS. Well, we didn't really pay too much attention to that. Literally the night before we got ready to go, it rained 9 inches, and I'm thinking to myself, it's a river. The river's gonna flow. It just got a ton of rain. And boy, was I wrong. When we got ready to leave the house and got ready to go out to the Neuse River, we did go out there and check the American Whitewater website. We checked the flow rate. The flow rate that day was between 110 and 120. And we'll talk in a few minutes about some of the issues that caused. So away we go. It's a slow flow today, as you guys can see. It's going to take us several hours to probably go the 14 miles that we're going. But hey, this is what it's all about. It's all about getting out here, relaxing, getting away from the rush of the everyday world, in my opinion anyway. But it's a beautiful flow. We're heading already straight for a branch. Been in the river maybe 5 minutes now. But that's going to be part of it. Some of the things that we figured out along the way that you may want to think about before you go. First off is when we got in the river and we got it floating down the river, we determined that there are many rocks, trees. The river was low that day, and so there were many things that we would have liked to be able to navigate around. And if we would have had some kind of even just stick or paddle or something like that, so we could just kind of move throughout the river, that would have really helped a lot. Something we found that was extremely helpful was to find some way to connect your tubes together. You'll see in the video that we actually use bungee cords. I found that worked really well, but you can use rope or anything else that you could possibly think of. You got some big carabiners, something like that, just something to connect your tubes together. So what we're currently talking about is the flow rate of the river today, which is measured in CFS, which is cubic feet per second. The flow rate is really low today. Typically you want it over 200 and under 700, and today's flow rate is just over 100, so we're not doing very well. It's going to take us a long time to get down the river today, but like I said earlier, that's part of the fun, and we're giving it a good try here. In a few minutes we'll be getting some drinks out. We also spent about a week trying to get some better floats for the river. This time of year they're very hard to find. We couldn't find any kind of river floats or nice floats. Couldn't find anything online. Looked at several different retailers. However, as you'll see in the video, having a very nice float, something with the backrest and cup holders and a bottom in it, is extremely helpful. Alright, so the wife and I were just talking about what would improve our adventure here. I would not recommend the El Cheapo pool float that I have. Is not the most comfortable. Definitely a float, and they make them. We tried our hardest to order them before we left to come out here today. But the river tubes that have the backrest and the bottoms in them are definitely the way to go. We're all maybe 20 minutes into it and already wishing that's what we had. But you know what, we're giving this the old college try, as my wife says, and we're going to do the best we can, and we're going to make it happen, and kind of hoping that the flow picks up here in just a minute, which it looks like it may be. Alright, so the wife and I just did the old swap-a-roo, and how comfortable are you, honey?
Not too bad, but I'm also not 6 feet tall.
Yeah, okay. Okay. Well, I can tell you, I'm much more comfortable. Oh, this is so much better. We may not swap back.
Yes.
What? So, one of the things that we wanted to talk about is our planning for this trip. So we went online, did a lot of research around the Neuse River, Neuse River tubing, and what we found is there's a lot of people that do this, but there's not a lot of information online about it. We've already talked about the flow rate earlier in the video. Definitely something we need to make sure we pay attention to more coming up on our future trips, as today's flow rate is not very good. We also, my wife and I have a very young child, so we had to get a babysitter. That was part of our planning. We had to do a float plan, so where we were putting in at, which was the Falls Lake Dam access point, and then where we're getting out at, which is the Millburny Dam access point. And we left that float plan with the young lady that's babysitting for us today. So if something were to happen and we weren't to come back on time, she would know to notify the authorities and let them know, hey, something went wrong. So that's just a safety thing. Definitely something you want to do, but probably not something that a lot of people would think of. As you make your way down the Neuse River, you will be able to tell that the Neuse River Trail runs right along next to the river. So at any point you feel the need that you need to get out of the river, you can get out and get off onto the trail. There's different access points. We actually found one place that had stairs going up to the trail down from the river. So that's a great thing to keep in mind in case you do get to a point where you need to get out of the river. As we were going down the river, we were able to talk to a couple guys that were in canoes. They were telling us about an access point called Paddle Creek. Now this is something we had come across in our research before we left. Everything we found said that Paddle Creek was closed. However, right now Paddle Creek is open. It's open on Saturdays and Sundays. So it's not open during the week, but I think most people will probably be doing this on the weekend. It is privately owned. It's also located at Capitol Boulevard. So right through here you can see there's a little bit of trash in the river. Some basketballs over there, some cans and drinks over here. Brings up a point of anytime you're on the water, no matter if it's in the river, the lake, the ocean, wherever it is, anything you take in, you take back out. So we have our bags today with us where, as we drink our drinks, we may put our cans back in the cooler, or we have a trash bag, put our trash in. Definitely do not want to be polluting any of the waterways at all.
Product of slow flow. We've got a.
Hey, I'm making a hat. You got the sun coming out.
Again, grabbing yourselves a decent sized stick or a pole or paddle, something like that. Matt's arms. I don't see anything. Oh, he's on the little bench over there. On the tree. Turtle, turtle. We've seen lots of turtles out there. Looks like one just dived right over there too. So just to talk a little more about the prep, which Matt, you can, chime in here.
We have our beverages with us, but also in the quarter in the cooler we have tons of water as well. So we will not dehydrate while we're out here. We have extra sunscreen with us, bug spray with us, just pretty much anything we would need.
Yeah, we're really enjoying having this little equipment float, such as it is, to put our things on without worrying about them. Got our shoes in a net bag so that we don't have to walk around in our water shoes as well. Like you said, some water, because though you're not doing any strenuous exercise.
I'm not.
Well, normally, you are out here in North Carolina in the summertime. It can get pretty toasty.
Hot and humid.
Hot and humid. It's pretty beautiful today. It's 80 some degrees. Had a few sprinkles this morning. But sunscreen even on an overcast day, for those of you who know well, it can still reflect off the water and you can still get UV rays through the clouds. So you just want to be protected and remember to reapply every couple hours, especially if you're getting out and getting wet every once in a while.
Quick update. I was able to procure a new float. It is not fully inflated, but it is holding some air, which is encouraging. Because as we've looked online, this is about a $50 float. It's definitely abandoned, so I didn't feel bad about taking it out of the river. Because like we talked about earlier, we don't want to leave anything in the river if we can help it. So here in a few minutes, we got a sandbar coming up. If you guys can see it down river there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to take my float and put it on top of this float and and see if I can't float down the river in both. Update coming soon. Nice little sandbar. At least that's what you would think it is. However, when we got out and tried to stand on it,
it sinks.
It sinks. It turns into quicksand. So that was a fun time. Wish I would have gotten that better on video, but you know, that's how it goes when you're YouTubing. I am now on my new float that I've rigged up here. Much more comfortable. And I got a nice little place here to hold my camera. As I switch out my beverage. Alright, new beverage in, and we are ready to float. Just about. Come on, man. Let's get back over here in the flow. Get in the flow. Get in the flow. Right, a long ways to go. Yeah. Keep going. We're going in the right direction. Alright, let's pause for a second. Can't get through this gap up here. Yeah.
It's turning me.
This will be a miracle. You might have to push off a little bit with your foot. We just went through that gap, guys.
There's no paddling.
With no paddling. We floated, well, we paddled some.
No, not really.
We paddled some. I paddled some. This has been quite the adventure. It's fun. I'm enjoying it. I think this counts as arm day. It's all the paddling I've been doing. That little creek, that definitely gave us a little flow though.
So, took us way longer than anticipated to get to our stop, so we called in reinforcements. Matt's mom and dad are coming to meet us at the Neuse River Greenway.
We're getting rescued.
It's a good point to know that you're along the Greenway for most of your trip, so if you do need to bail out sooner rather than later, you can stop and keep an eye out for your spot. So we've got about a 15-minute walk to go meet them, so we're heading there now. We had fun.
Oh yeah.
It was just slow moving,
Lots
so
of fun. Lots of fun.
we'll see you guys soon.
Okay. Once you're done and you're back at your exit vehicle, some of the things you're going to want to have on hand will be clean towels and dry clean clothes, just so that you can change into something and be more comfortable on your trip home. As always, guys, I hope you like the content that we're putting out. If you do, make sure you go out there and hit that subscribe button, hit the like button on the videos that you find helpful, and that way you won't miss any of our content going forward. See you guys next time.